What's an embarrassing thing that you've said during sex?
I've never said this out loud, and I feel like I'm going to get a lot of shit from my friends for it, but here goes. I was having fun, casual sex with a female person, and we were just trying to make it as fun and light as possible, making jokes back and forth, that kind of thing. And I said a few things like a certain cartoon character that sound like this. I can't look at you while I do this.
Oh yeah, I like that. That's nice. Do more of that.
It was funny at first. She laughed, and I laughed, and then I did his laugh, and suddenly it wasn't very funny anymore. For her.
What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you in bed or wherever?
Ooh, it literally happened last weekend. So last week I was with like the guy that I'm seeing and we're having sex and it was a great time. And also, you know, it was that kind of sex where I had to leave in like 10 minutes. So it was like, oh no, we shouldn't be doing this. Oh, I need to leave. I was having a great time.
Late. Sorry about that.
I was going for a roast with the girls and my flatmate was like, I'm leaving. And I was like, oh, fine. So we're having sex. It was great. He finished. He pulled out and then he looked at me and he goes, the condom's not on. And I thought he was taking the piss. Like, I thought he was taking the piss because he's a bit like that. And I said, stop being stupid. And he was like, the condom is not on. Uh-oh. So I said, well, where is it then? And he was like, inside you. So I was like, okay. And he's like, what do I do? I was like, what do you mean, what do you do? Get in there and retrieve it. You lost it, go and find it. So he basically like, had to like go and get it, but he was like, because I started panicking a bit, I could tell he was now panicking, so I was led there going, it's okay, don't worry, it's fine.
You literally,
with his whole like
you've gone for a smear test, was it like that?
Yeah, it was like they put the speculum inside me and cranked it open.
I'm trying to like
it was around. Like, yeah, it was just like the movements of trying to, and then he ended up getting it. But then, you know what it is? When he got it, he was like, there's nothing in it. Oh. I was like, for fuck's sake. Is this what we're doing now?
It's happened to the best of us, mate.
Yeah.
It's happened to the best of us.
What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you guys while doing the deed?
I'm actually very glad I finally have a reason to tell y'all this story. So about 3 days after I got my Brazilian wax, me and my shorty, you know, got to the business. And in the midst of such actions, my baby's moment was coming up, if you get what I'm saying. And as the gentleman I am, I decided that I should just give her some good, long, deep strides just to put the cherry on top. Tell me why. My booty cheeks clapped. Not only did they clap, but they clapped 3 consecutive times, one after the other. There was just this profound moment where she looked up at me, I looked down at her, and we just nodded, and I just kept going. We haven't really talked about it since, and I hope we never will.
How many aura points did I lose when my gym crush, who I've never talked to, came up to me today, talked to me for the first time, and I was like, damn, my lips are really chapped right now. Let me reach in my gym bag and just grab some lip products so they're like, you know, not dry. As discreetly and as nonchalantly as I can, I reach into my bag, grab this lip product. I've never used this lip gloss before, but I'm not trying to search in my bag while I'm talking to him, so I grab it, put it on. Why the fuck? What the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Keep in mind, my gym has very dim lighting and it's also nighttime, so this is really just illuminating my entire face. He was just staring at me like, oh. To play it off and be like, I didn't know that this did that, which I didn't. So embarrassing. I don't think he's ever gonna talk to me again.
What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you guys while doing the deed?
I told myself I would take this story to my grave, but here we are. 18-year-old me invites a rich white boy I found on Tinder over to my house that I had never met before. Dumb. Very bad at life at that age. I was very dumb. He comes over. We're doing it. It's whatever. Not great. Not bad. He starts, you know. Then he starts screaming at the top of his lungs while he's, you know. And he grabs his leg. I was like, oh, he's having a Charlie horse. He's grabbing his leg, screaming, screaming. Then all of a sudden I start to smell something. I was like, what the fuck is that? I'm like looking around to make sure that my cat wasn't in the room and hadn't just used the litter box because I was like, this smells like fucking shit. He literally looks up at me and he goes, I just shit myself. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, right here? Right now? And he's like, yeah, in your bed. And I was like,
What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you guys while doing the deed?
Okay, so I said I was going to take this story to my grave, but I find it way too funny not to share. So a few years ago, me and my ex are doing the nasty, doing the deed, whatever you want to call it, and I had during it, and I was laughing hysterically because I thought it was the funniest thing in the world. He, on the other hand, did not think it was funny, and all he said was, "Shut the fuck up, keep going." So we keep going and do it, whatever. A few days go by, my little brother comes up to me, and he was like, "I can't look at you the same." And I'm like, "Why? What did I do this time?" And he was like, "So the other day I came down to your room to see if you wanted to order some pizza." He said all I heard was moaning, a fart noise, laughing, and "shut the fuck up, keep going."
What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you guys while doing the deed?
Okay, so my boyfriend had a broken leg one time, all right? Which means we had to stay in the living room because he couldn't make it to his room. And mind you, I had to do all the work because, you know, this man's fucking broken, so he's laying on the couch. All right, so we're, doing the dude. And his mom walks out of the bedroom. Okay, so I'm like, fucking stop. Like your mom's coming, stop. And so I'm like covering up and I'm just looking like I'm, sitting on his lap. We're having a nice little romantic moment. He doesn't stop. So what does she do? She walks up to us. I'm horrified. I'm like, oh my God, please tell me she doesn't know what's happening right now, right? She bends down and she goes, "Would I do this if you were sitting right here?" I cried. I literally.
What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you guys while doing the deed?
Mom, if you see this video, scroll on. Quick context, my husband and I live in a basement apartment and my mom's parents live above us. One summer, my mom made the 9-hour trip to come visit my husband and I and my grandparents. While she was visiting, we had an extended family barbecue. It was great, it was fun. Towards the end, my husband and I got bored. So we left and told everyone we were going to go take a nap. We did not take a nap. Midway through adult activities, my mother comes into my apartment and she just starts speaking to me through my bedroom door. I think she genuinely thought we were taking a nap. I don't even remember what she said. I just remember practically begging her to go away and leave. Nothing kills the vibe faster than your mother talking to you about gluten-free potato salad while you're getting hammered harder than a professional roofer's nail.
What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you guys while doing the deed?
I'm probably going to delete this later, but here goes. March-ish of 2018, I'd been on a month-long Tinder date. It just went really well, so we just kept getting up in each other's business, Like actually getting to know each other kind of stuff, which was weird for me. So, to give you the plot land of his house, you open the front door, and directly to the right is this L-shaped couch. One day, after binging Westworld, we were binging one another. So the door's back there, my back there's facing the door, nothing but sunlight hitting all my nethers. Suddenly a gust of air hits all of that as the front door just whips right open. Mind you, he lives alone. I get tossed off. He's on his feet and he goes, "Mom." That's how I met my future mother-in-law. Love you, Terry.
The part 2 that everybody wanted to this story is pretty anticlimactic, so I'll keep it short and sweet. She closed that door about as quick as she opened it, so one and done. I didn't even see her before it was all over. She has seen the video. She's aware that I shared this, and she thinks it's hilarious because she remembers. Oh, she remembers! So we're celebrating our 3-year wedding anniversary. Next month, we have a 14-month-old, and we have a 7-year-old and an 8-year-old. Yeah, wasn't much to it. We never brought it up again. Have spent every holiday together. Has always lived right around the corner. Is in my house 3 days a week, if not 4.
What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you guys while doing the deed?
I done skeeted on my own head. Yes, you heard that correctly. I done skeeted on my own head. Hell, you skeeted on your head. I'm gonna tell you how I skeeted on my head. Early college, girls riding cowgirl, right? It's getting to that point. You know what I'm saying? Milk jugs getting full. Toaster strudels are about to get iced. The fizz was about to overflow. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so I pulled out, ripped off my Jimmy head, and I busted so hard. The nut flew over top of her body and landed on my forehead. On my mama, on my grandmama, on everything. I promise you this is not a lie. Now she over here laughing while the Elmer's glue on my forehead is speed walking to my cornea. I just... Damn!
What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you guys while doing the deed?
Mom, if you see this video, scroll on. Quick context, my husband and I live in a basement apartment and my mom's parents live above us. One summer, my mom made the 9-hour trip to come visit my husband and I and my grandparents. While she was visiting, we had an extended family barbecue. It was great, it was fun. Towards the end, my husband and I got bored. So we left and told everyone we were going to go take a nap. We did not take a nap. Midway through adult activities, my mother comes into my apartment and she just starts speaking to me through my bedroom door. I think she genuinely thought we were taking a nap. I don't even remember what she said. I just remember practically begging her to go away and leave. Nothing kills the vibe faster than your mother talking to you about gluten-free potato salad while you're getting hammered harder than a professional roofer's nail.
Please tell me your bad sex story so I feel better about my...
I got you, sis. Let me go through the catalog. What you want to hear? You want to hear about when I threw up on the D? Or when I had some stink-ass punani? Yeah, that shit was stink. But let me tell you about the D, though. So, it was with my boyfriend, and I was sucking the fuck out of that dick. I'm talking about like I ain't eaten in days. Even though we just had dinner, I just had some lasagna. I was sucking that shit like... all type of shit, sloppy, beautiful head, okay? I don't know if I went too deep. I don't know what the hell happened, but I threw up all over his dick. I'm talking about lasagna everywhere, ground beef everywhere, corn everywhere. And he was like, it's okay, babe, it's okay. I was like, oh, that must have been good. So he washed off. Okay, and I continued to do my thing, you know what I'm talking about, and we had sex, but that shit was... First of all, y'all nosy, and second of all, y'all nasty. Okay, so I'm gonna tell y'all the story about when I had some stank-ass punani. Okay, sister was stacked. Titties was sitting, ass was right, stomach on flat, beautiful chocolate girl. Oh my gosh, she was so fine. She went to the house with me and daddy. I was like, daddy, we finna fuck this shit up. So she gets to the room, dog, and I'm looking like, bro, this girl is so fine. I'm finna tear this up. Sis opens up her legs, and I'm like, what the fuck? Did I take the trash out? What's going on? I'm looking like, damn, you know how when you eat McDonald's in your car, you know the smell that the fries leave? Yes, nigga. You know how when you leave the clothes in the washing machine too long? Yes, nigga. I was like, I'm not finna do this. So I told daddy that he's gonna have to play this one without me, sis. I'm gonna be sitting on the sideline, coach. I don't want to be in the game. Do your thing, okay? So she didn't want to do anything with him if I wasn't in the picture.
What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you guys while doing the deed?
I am happy to tell this story as long as there is no judgment here, all right? No judgment, it was an accident, I'm embarrassed about it, okay, that's the end of it. One Christmas, I was staying around my girlfriend's house, but I had to sleep downstairs. It was new to the relationship. Her mum and dad didn't want me sleeping in the same room. I get that, we were young, I get it. So I thought, I better, you know, be the typical guy, maybe go upstairs, sneak in on her, it'd be fun, it'd be cute, and surprise her and maybe get a little kiss just before Christmas started, right? Passionate, cute, right? Romantic. One thing led to another. We got down to it, but I only found out at the end it wasn't her, it was actually her dad. So, yeah, that was awkward. Great Christmas though, really friendly family.
What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you guys while doing the deed?
Hey, if we're talking deed doing, you want to be talking to this old boot scooter, because I have done the deed before a lot. All right, I'm basically level 20 at deeding. And one thing that's really embarrassing is when they're like, Andrew, you are too good at this. you've really rocked it this night. You've won this Squid Game or whatever. I actually haven't seen that yet. So, but it looks fun. You know, I'm in for anything. Or when they're like, oh no, we ran out of gels for it. Or when they see you crying.
What's an embarrassing thing that you've said during sex?
First things first, I talk a lot when I'm anxious, and I'm always anxious. I feel like that's just something that needs to be known. So I don't know how to be sexy. I don't know what the right words are. I'm much more fluent in sex when I'm in my room texting. So go over to whole boy's house, and we're getting to our groove on or whatever, and he starts to make the move, and so naturally I say, what are you doing, step bro? And like, I think it's so funny, but he did not think it was funny.
Embarrassing sex story number 3. You guys seem to really like these videos, and I have a lot of them, so let's just get into it. So this story starts when I am 18. Thank God I am legal this time. I've not been talking to this guy long, but he Snapchats me and he goes, hey, do you want to go on a drive? I say yes, sure, whatever. I'm not really that interested in this guy, but like, if nothing comes out of it, at least a friendship will, if you know what I mean. So this guy picks me up at around 11:30, almost midnight, and we drive around for like 15 minutes, and then he's like, hey, do you want to take a walk along the beach? But he doesn't just take me to just any beach. He takes me to the beach of love. That was literally disgusting. I don't know why I did that. So we're at this beach and he's holding my hand and he's telling me really cute things. And it's overall just a really sweet moment. We eventually decide to stop walking and we'll go sit at this little spot. It's close to the water, but like we're still very much dry. Looking back on this though, I think he knew that it was gonna happen because he seemed like he knew where he was going, like he had been there before. So we were just sitting there, the vibes were good, he kissed me, I kissed him back. Now I want you to remember that this was at like midnight, so nobody's gonna be on this beach. Or so we think. So we're kissing and stuff, and one thing leads to another, and ... I know what you're thinking, Jai, really? Outside, on a beach? But I wasn't really thinking about that when I was doing it. So 15 minutes had passed of us, dotting, and I feel something at my foot, and I can hear like a sniffle, and I'm like, what is going on here? I turn around to see a dog at my feet. Now, I'm not quite sure what I was doing there. Was probably just sitting watching the show, but you weren't invited, babe. And then it hit me. Where there's a dog, there's an owner. In the distance, we can hear, it sounds like a woman calling on the dog. So it is like a race against time to get our clothes back on. That is until the dog steals one of my socks. But not only that, I can live without a sock. What I can't live with is the fact that he tried to bury me. You know when dogs do that thing in the sand and kick it back at you? Yeah, he did that. I lost my sock and dignity that day. No, the woman did not catch us. And I've never spoke to the boy since. Mwah.
What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you guys while doing the deed?
I do not know how to tell the short version of this story, so bear with me, please. So I was at this person's place, mining for gold, as one does, and without warning, the door just flies open. I panic a little too much, okay? So that person was kind of thrown off the bed, per se, okay? And in that same moment, I decided to take a fighting stance. I was going to fight whatever was coming through that door. It was the dog. And it made deep soul eye contact with me. It was not comfortable. So I felt bad for throwing the person off the bed. But then they made fun of me for standing in my birthday suit, ready to fight a dog. So I didn't feel bad. And I don't like dogs watching or anyone watching.
What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you guys while doing the deed?
So I had to stitch this when I saw it. So I have EDS, which means that my joints are very unstable. So, yeah, so if you don't get where this is going, my hips are probably the most affected joints that I have. Yeah, so missionary sex can lead to a lot of dislocations of those hips. So I will probably be the only 28-year-old that you will ever hear, or God forbid ever hear of, screaming, my hip, like that goddamn man in SpongeBob screaming about his leg. Kind of kills his mood. Kind of kills the mood. Just a little bit.
What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you guys while doing the deed?
My ex-girlfriend's little brother walked downstairs to see us doing the deed, and she said, oh, we're just hugging. He was going into 7th grade. He was already through sex ed, so he just looked at us and was like, yeah, sure. Proceeds to go to the fridge and get some apple juice. That kid gave no fucks.
What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you guys while doing the deed?
First off, to my family members who follow my TikTok, please feel free to not watch the rest of this. Yeah. So my first long-term relationship, he and I lived together for about a year. We were a toxic couple. We weren't good for one another. And he wanted to do the deed, and I did not really want to do the deed. So we did the deed because that's how that relationship went. Toxic, I know. I don't need the comments about it. But he decided that instead of taking his time to get me where I needed to be ready for this event to occur, that we would just skip that part and use lube. So there was some in my nightstand. We shared the same bedroom. He knew where my nightstand was. It wasn't some foreign place to him. We lived together. And this was several months into us living together. So it wasn't a new concept. So it's dark. He grabs it. For whatever reason, instead of putting it on himself, he puts it on me. I don't know. I don't know if that's normal. Don't know. So I can hear him opening the bottle, right, and putting some in his hand and then putting it on my body. And then in seconds, I am in crippling, screaming pain. I'm doubled over in a ball. My Virginia is on fire, absolute fire, and I had no idea what was going on. I start crying. I'm in this fetal position crying because my Virginia is now just exploded to smithereens, or that's what it feels like. So he turned on a light and realized that he grabbed hand sanitizer instead of lubricant.
My embarrassing moment during sex is when somebody's trying to be really dominant, and I just don't enjoy that shit. I'm just love me.
Yeah.
And I find it really embarrassing when somebody's trying to be really dominant,
slag.
and I'm like,
yeah.
Okay. What do I say? Or when they're choking you and you think, get the fuck off my neck, bitch. I get
breathe.
really annoyed about that shit.
Yeah.
And then
I feel like
think,
maybe that's something
maybe I'm
you should
frigid.
go, do you mind being choked? Because you could have some trauma there.
I don't have any trauma. I just find it weird. Why are you trying to kill me?
Yeah, no, that's
Are
fair.
you a necrophiliac?
That's fair.
What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you guys while doing the deed?
My younger brother banged on the wall and goes, use protection.
What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you guys while doing the deed?
Most embarrassing time was shortly after my ex-husband and I had first gotten married. So in the newlywed phase, we were a little drunk and crossfaded, and I had told him he needed to stop because I felt my stomach getting ready to purge itself, and it translated in his head to go faster and harder. So I ended up throwing up all over him, me, the bed, the floor, our little mini fridge. But that didn't stop him from finishing. I wanted a shower so bad. Don't you judge me in the background. You've already heard this story. Don't you dare.
How could he keep going?
Why are you asking me? I wasn't the one that kept going. I wanted my shower. I wanted my shower. That's all I wanted.
What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you guys while doing the deed?
Alright, so Pete, got this little shawty that I had been trying to get for a while, right? Finally invited me over to the crib, so get over there, she done cook, the whole nine. So we eat, we sipping, we smoking, we vibing, we finally get into it. I'm talking about, and it's good, it's good. So she said she want to finish me herself, so while she down there doing what she do, I feel my stomach rubbing. So, I clench, like, hold it till she get done. So I feel that moment coming. I'm just like, yeah. So it come, and I rip a huge fart as I'm emptying in her mouth. I'm talking about, and then to make it worse, it kind of blew back and hit her right in the face while I was still in her mouth. Charlotte was horrified. It was a great night, but that was the time I seen or heard from her.
What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you guys while doing the deed?
So there was this one time in the back of a computer lab, and just kidding. Okay, I'm sorry. Just a prank.
So the story was, he picked me up, we went to his job like we usually do, our normal routine. He was working at a car wash at the time. Never did shit. He was just the laziest ass of them all. But anywho, he was in the tunnel in his car in the back seat having sex. He was high. Whatever other drug he took, I think it was a perk, whatever it was, he took it. Didn't know till after the fact. As usually when he is about to nut, he lets me know, like, babe, I'm coming. But ooh, it's a lot. Like, it's a lot. I was like, okay. He was like, this for sure should get you pregnant. Oh, God. Keeps going. I was like, damn, it's a lot. But when he pulls out, he's peeing in me. He pees in me. So I'm crying, thinking like, you're messing up my uterus or whatever. But he's still peeing. While I'm crying and the pee is coming literally out of me. On the back seat in the car. Yeah.
What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you guys while doing the deed?
I can't believe I'm gonna tell you a story. Okay. So we were in the middle of, and I was on the bottom, and we had props and lingerie and shoes, and one of my shoes was a little bit too big, and we were, going at it pretty hard, and sorry, babe. And one of my shoes, my legs were up in the air, and one of my shoes flew off of my foot and landed on my lip, and I had a fat lip for like a week.
Okay, so in middle school, I had like the most embarrassing thing happen in our sex ed class. So the way they had it done was like they had a jar in the middle of the room, and everyone would write anonymous questions that they had about sex, and then you would put it in the jar, and then the teacher would read it and answer the questions anonymously. So I had heard a rumor that women could get pregnant if someone had on their finger and then, So that was my question, and I wrote it down, put it in the box. The teacher gets to my question, she reads it out loud, and everyone, I'm not kidding you, everyone in this classroom starts cackling. Of course, I'm the only one not cackling because it's my question. I turned bright red, like this color. And then this girl next to me, Samantha, this girl just goes, oh my God, why are you so red? Wait, did you ask that question? So everyone knew it was me. But the real thing is, I'm 27 now and I still don't have an answer.